What's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to the channel. And in this video I'm going to be doing my top 5 NFL running backs heading into the 2023 NFL season. And without further ado, let's begin. Now look, I think everyone for the most part is in an agreement with who the top 5 are. It's 5 guys and those are the top 5 undisputably. But you can really put them in any order, I think, and it can be a a credible argument. The 5 guys, you could put one in last or one in first of the 5 and it wouldn't be outrageous, but the 5 I think are the undisputed top 5. So let me get into it. Coming in at number 5, I have Josh Jacobs, who I think easily could be number 1. This guy led the league in rushing with 1,653 yards, had 400 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs has always been a guy who I think has been slightly underrated, and now he really broke out this year, and he wasn't able to be, ignored no more. And he led the league in rushing yards. He had 340 carries, and he really carried that Raiders offense at times when the passing game was not going well. Josh Jacobs amid a contract issue. We'll see how that all plays out, but definitely one of the top backs in the league. Coming in at number 4, I have Nick Chubb, who has been one of the more consistent running backs in the league over the last few years. He's had 4 straight 1,000-yard plus rushing seasons. This season he had 1,500, the most ever in his career, with 12 touchdowns. Nick Chubb is just a pure old-fashioned power back. He doesn't offer much in the receiving game, and, he's not very elusive, but he is just a powerful, punishing running back to tackle. Just like Jacobs, I think there's an argument to put this guy as the top back in football. It's just, really a matter of, preference. He only had 1 fumble in over 300 carries this season, along with a total of 27 catches, so almost 330 touches with only 1 fumble. Coming in at number 3, I have Christian McCaffrey. Now, Christian McCaffrey was a guy who had a couple of tough seasons over the past, in 2020 and in 2021 due to injuries. He had less than 700 yards in those 2 seasons combined. But this season, he had 1,139 yards rushing and 741 yards receiving. He had a monster year. He played 6 games with the Panthers and 11 games with the 49ers. Now, I think Christian McCaffrey under a full year in the 49ers offense, we'll really see I think the sky is the limit with Christian McCaffrey and this 49ers offensive line. We didn't see him in a full year with them and with this offense. Now he's going to have a full off season with them. And Christian McCaffrey, he's not just great in the running game. He's a great receiving back and he's a power back. He has a great combination of power, receiving, and elusiveness. And I think when he's on, he is the best back in the NFL. Right there with who my number 2 guy is going to be. But Christian McCaffrey reestablished himself this year as one of the top running backs in this league after a couple of slow seasons due to injuries. I think you can make a strong argument that he is the top back right now in the NFL, but it's really tight amongst a lot of players right now. Coming in at number 2, I have Saquon Barkley. Now, Saquon Barkley is another running back just like Josh Jacobs, who's amid contract controversy, and if not for that, I may have him at number 1, but I think that has to be taken into consideration because there's a possibility he may not be playing this upcoming season. But Saquon Barkley, similar to Christian McCaffrey, had a couple of really rough seasons. In 2021, he only had 593 yards. And in the year before that, he only had 34 yards, in which he only played 2 games. This year, he managed to stay healthy for 16 out of the 17 regular season games, and the one he missed was actually, a game where the Giants were resting their starters. But he had 1,312 yards rushing, 338 yards receiving, and a total of 10 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey is another guy, Saquon Barkley is another guy, just like Christian McCaffrey, who has it all. He has the powerness of Nick Chubb, but the elusiveness of like a Dalvin Cook. And he also brings a lot to the table in the receiving game. It's very interesting. What are the Giants going to do with Saquon Barkley? Because if you pay him the bag, you may be falling into the trap a lot of other teams have with big name running backs. Look at the Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott. Look at the Jets with Le'Veon Bell. But if you don't pay him and you don't have him this upcoming season, you're basically losing your heart and soul of your team and the best player on your team and pretty much what your whole offense evolves around. So the Giants are in a very tough situation. I would pay him. I would take the risk, because what are the Giants really without Saquon Barkley? But Saquon Barkley, I think, yeah, he could easily be number one. And I think when he's healthy, he is maybe the most dynamic guy in the NFL, the running back position. In the playoffs this past year, he had 18 carries for 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, and over 6 yards per carry through the 2 games he played in. Mind you, this isn't even through that amazing of an offensive line. Yeah, the Giants' offensive line has gotten better over the last couple of years, but not that great. I think Saquon Barkley, it would be a shame for him to leave the Giants, because I think he's such a great fit for that team and for that fan base. But yeah, it's a tough situation right now. And then coming in at number 1, I have Derrick Henry still. Derrick Henry, I think, me included, a lot of people going into this past season were starting to doubt Derrick Henry, saying that, this is already his 6th or 7th year. The Titans have overused him. That wear and tear really starts to catch up with you, and he's coming off of a major injury. I myself believe Derrick Henry was going to slow down this season, and he silenced everybody. He had over 1,500 yards rushing. He actually had close to 400 yards receiving, which is his greatest season ever in the receiving game by far. However, he did have 6 fumbles throughout the regular season, which is definitely something to take into consideration. But I think the Titans will take that with what the production he brings. I think, there's somewhere along the way over the last year and a half or so where Derrick Henry kind of lost his King Henry status as the undisputed top back, and I'm really not sure why. I mean, you look over the last 2 years, 2021, he had almost 1,000 yards rushing despite only playing in 8 games. I mean, Derrick Henry is still that guy, and sure, he will slow down sooner rather than later, because he is starting to get older, and he's taken a lot of carries over his career. He's already taken over 1,700 in just his first 7 years. But that time is not right now, and as of right now, heading into 2023, Derrick Henry, I think, is still the guy that I'm going to nudge the best back to spot to yet. But honestly, like I said, I think any of these 5 guys can be number 1, and any of these 5 guys can be at the bottom of these 5. You can really arrange these top 5 in any order, and I think you have an argument, but these are the undisputed top 5. Comment down below what you guys think about all this, and other than that, I'll see you guys next time.